Triple G was saving himself. To a degree, he was saving himself for Canelo in the trilogy fight. He was saving his body for this very moment. He didn't fight as much, could be contributed to the fact that he wanted to have his body poised and ready to be able to have the ability and enough in the tank in terms of mileage to fight Canelo. That very well may have been the case, and that could have hurt him. Him not fighting as much, him trying to save his body, save the last of his prowess for Canelo. But that might have hurt him, and it might have been that he was better off consistently fighting. Because again, not fighting a lot, we saw a lot of rust in the Murata fight, a boxer that, while good, I don't think should have given him the type of work that he did, but he did irregardless. And it made us question Triple G fighting Canelo in the first place for a third time because of that perceived severe degradation in his skill set. Still took him out, but there were questions that should not have been needed to be asked when we watched him fight against Murata, and that could have been due to inactivity. Canelo's fight still could be due to inactivity, but all of that is just speculation. The fact of the matter is, he lost. He looked older. He looked like he's out of his prime. And he looked like the bell is getting ready to toll on his career. Not saying it will. I want to see him fight again, but it's looking like the bell is getting ready to toll in terms of Triple G being able to stay at the upper echelon of the divisions and as a fighter actively. Legacy-wise, is set in stone. We don't worry about that because he is what he is. He's one of the greatest middleweights in boxing history. He is one of the greatest knockout artists in middleweight history. He has one of the greatest chins that boxing has ever seen. All of that is cemented, and we don't have to worry about anything happening with that aspect of his career. His greatness is set, and there's nothing else that needs to be questioned. If he retired today, he would go into the Hall of Fame. He will retire as one of the great middleweights of any boxing era. Where you want to rank him, that's up to you, but the point still stands. He is an all-time great. If he loses when he goes back down to middleweight, that's when I'm going to say, okay, yeah, he needs to call it quits. That's when I'm going to say it's about time to be up. That's what I would say. Once he loses the middleweight title, if he loses the middleweight title, I'm going to look at Gennady Golovkin and say, okay, it is time to wrap it up. It is time to wrap it up. I'm not sure he can pull a Bernard Hopkins and just reign till he's like 46, 48, 62, however old Bernard Hopkins was when he had a title. I don't think he can do that. I just don't think he can do that because of the way that he fights. The way that he fights relies on his head and his chin a lot when it comes to defense. Now, he's got one of the greatest chins ever. He's not a bad defensive fighter, but it's not one of his strong suits. So because of that, that coupled with his age, coupled with his fighting style, it makes me question how long he can really go to where I don't have to worry about him and his health later on in his career. It really does. And if he goes back down to 160 and loses the middleweight title, then I'ma say, okay, it's looking like time to hang up. It really is. Because yes, power is the last thing to go, absolutely. And normally I don't say that somebody is, oh yeah, just end it due to age. Because especially in today, we've seen too many instances of boxers being able to still be on top, and just athletes in general still be on top while at an age where it just should not be feasible. LeBron, perfect example, still being successful and top 5 player in the entire world at age, 38? Tom Brady, another player in the NFL. He's going and he's still dominating at 40 something. It's inconceivable. 23 years in the NFL. Manny Pacquiao in boxing. And mind you, this was Pacquiao when, by all accounts, it seems like he should have been, somebody should have beat him. But he beat Adrian Broner. Then he beat Keith one-time Thurman. It was like a run that just seemingly, every time we thought, okay, this is it just kept on going. And like with Pacquiao, you're gonna see clearly when Gennady Golovkin's time is done. It's gonna be clear and present. Against Canelo, it was more so Canelo just came out uber aggressively, and Gennady Golovkin, while age was a factor, just could not find a way to get around that speed of Canelo, on top of the aggression, up until he just threw caution to the wind. Then when he did that, what happened? We started to see the Gennady of old, like in the first 2 fights with Canelo. Going forward, however, you need to look for whether or not we see the severe drop-off in Triple G's physical ability to do the things that he wants to do in the ring. Because Pacquiao is the most recent showing of when your body gives out, you don't know when it's coming. But when it does come, it's just gonna jump all on you. It's gonna jump all over you. Pacquiao threw 800 punches in that fight against Ugas in his last fight. However, there was no power. It almost seemed like he was struggling. He couldn't jump around the ring, couldn't really use his feet. Essentially turned into a stand and bang fighter against Ugas. And just literally threw the kitchen sink at him to try to get anything through. Valiant effort, was a good fight, don't get it twisted, but still, you saw that, okay, it's time to go. You saw the sign, you saw the clear sign in that fight as to, okay, yeah, this is most likely going to be his last fight. And we could see that same thing with Triple G. That same thing with Triple G come his fight at middleweight when he goes to defend the title. We could. Now, it could do the thing where he elongates his career by consistently winning and turning back the clock. I think that's going to happen due to him being more active and being more poised to fight more often in the year. But if he keeps up the same thing of long inactivity and then only a couple fights, I think we're going to see it. But I still want to see him fight. Don't get it twisted. I do still want to see Triple G fight again. I don't think he should retire yet. But depending on, I'm going to be watching every fight of his from this point on very closely. Because I'm looking for when it's going to be time. Because more likely than not, I'm going to see it. And you're going to see it too. Just like we saw with Pacquiao. You're going to catch it when it says it's time to go. I hope it's not soon. Because I love watching Triple G fight. But it could very well be soon.